Three soldiers. The sun was slowly rising over the snowy mountains near the border. The air was cold, and the wind moved like a silent warning. In a small army post made of stone and steel, 3 Indian soldiers stood together, looking at the land they had promised to protect with their lives. Their names were Captain Arjun Singh, Havaldar Rafiq Khan, and Lance Nayak Birsa Munda. They were different in language, religion, and background, but they shared one heart, love for their country. Their stories. Captain Arjun Singh was from a small village in Punjab. His father had also been a soldier and had lost a leg in war. Since childhood, Arjun had heard stories of courage and sacrifice. His father always told him, "A soldier does not fight because he hates what is in front of him. He fights because he loves what is behind him." Those words stayed in Arjun's heart forever. Havaldar Rafiq Khan came from Lucknow. His family ran a small tea shop near a railway station. He had 2 younger sisters. Every month, he sent most of his salary home for their education. He wanted them to become doctors and teachers. Rafiq often said, "If my sisters study freely, if girls walk safely in our country, then my duty is worth it." Lance Naik Birsa Munda was from a tribal village in Jharkhand. He grew up near forests and rivers. He was strong, quiet, and always smiling. His mother had cried the day he joined the army, but she had also said proudly, "You are not just my son. Now you are the son of the soil." Birsa carried a small piece of red thread from his mother tied around his wrist for protection. Life at the border. Life at the border was not easy. Temperatures fell below freezing. Food sometimes came late. They slept with boots on and rifles beside them. But they laughed together, shared stories, and celebrated festivals like one family. On Diwali, Arjun lit a small candle inside a metal box. On Eid, Rafiq shared sweets sent by his mother. During tribal festivals, Birsa sang songs from his village. They often said, "We are 3 bodies, but one uniform." The warning. One night, the radio operator received a message. Enemy movement had been seen near their sector. The commanding officer gathered the team. "Stay alert. They may try to cross the border tonight." The wind became colder. The silence felt heavier. Every sound seemed louder than usual. Arjun checked the map. Rafiq cleaned his rifle. Birsa watched the dark mountains through binoculars. No one spoke much, but they all understood, something big was coming. The attack. Around midnight, Birsa noticed movement near the rocks. "Sir, shadows at 2 o'clock direction," he whispered. Arjun looked through his scope. There were figures trying to cross the border secretly. "Positions," Arjun ordered calmly. Suddenly, gunfire broke the silence of the mountains. Bullets hit the walls of the post. Snow flew into the air. The enemy had come prepared. But the 3 soldiers stood firm. Rafiq fired carefully, stopping 2 infiltrators from moving ahead. Birsa moved to a higher rock to get a better view, even though bullets were flying around him. Arjun coordinated with nearby posts on the radio while also fighting. They were outnumbered, but not outbraved. Courage under fire. During the fight, an explosion hit near Birsa. He fell behind a rock. Birsa! Rafiq shouted. Without thinking of his own safety, Rafiq crawled through snow and bullets to reach him. Birsa's arm was bleeding. "I'm fine," Birsa said with a weak smile. "Just scratched." But Rafiq knew it was serious. He tied a bandage quickly. Meanwhile, Arjun noticed some enemies trying to circle from the back. "If they reach the supply shed, we are finished," he thought. Arjun made a risky decision. "I'll move left and block them." "Cover me," he shouted. Rafiq and Birsa gave cover fire while Arjun ran through open ground under heavy shooting. A bullet hit his shoulder, but he didn't stop. He reached a rock and stopped the advancing group. The turning point. The fight continued for nearly an hour. Snow turned red in some places. Smoke filled the air. But slowly, the enemy began to retreat. Reinforcements from another post were arriving. The attack had failed. The border was safe. But the cost was heavy. After the battle, when silence returned, Rafiq rushed to Arjun. "Sir, you're hurt badly." Arjun smiled weakly. "Still alive, Havaldar." Birsa came limping over, his arm tied with cloth. "See, just a scratch," he joked again. But Arjun had lost too much blood. He held Rafiq's hand and said softly, "Take care of your sisters, make sure they study." Then he looked at Birsa. "Go back to your village someday, build a school there." Tears filled their eyes. "And remember, India is safe because of soldiers like you." With a final deep breath, Captain Arjun Singh became silent. A hero's farewell. The next morning, the Indian flag flew at half-mast in the post. Arjun's body was wrapped in the tricolor. Rafiq and Birsa stood beside him, saluting with tears in their eyes. News spread across the country. People who never met him cried for him. Children wrote letters. His village welcomed him as a hero. His father, standing on one leg with crutches, saluted his son's coffin and said proudly, "My son kept his promise." Living with the loss, Rafiq and Birsa returned to duty after recovery. The border was still there. The duty was still there. The pain was also there. But so was pride. Every year, on the day of the battle, they sat together, looked at the mountains, and remembered Arjun. Rafiq's sisters became a doctor and a teacher. Birsa later helped build a small school in his village with his savings. At the entrance, there was a board, Captain Arjun Singh Memorial School. The real meaning of patriotism. Patriotism is not only shouting slogans. It is not only waving flags on special days. Patriotism is a father sending his son to the army with tears but pride. A sister waiting for her brother's call. A soldier standing awake while the country sleeps peacefully. Three men from different backgrounds becoming one family for the nation. Final scene. Years later, Rafiq and Birsa visited Arjun's village together. They met his mother. She served them food with shaking hands. "You are my sons too," she said. They touched her feet and replied, "No, Mom, we are just doing our duty." Arjun sir showed us how. As they left, children were playing nearby, laughing freely, running without fear. Rafiq looked at Birsa and said softly, This is why we stand at the border." Birsa nodded. Far away in the mountains, the wind still blew cold. But somewhere in that wind, it carried the story of 3 soldiers, one who gave his life, and 2 who carried his courage forward. And above them all, the tricolor waved proudly in the sky. Jai Hind.